Who removed my sister's ventilator? The room went dead silent. The laughter, the cheers from the livestream, the sound of Justin snickering, all of it vanished in the blink of an eye, replaced only by the heavy and menacing thud of the man's footsteps as he approached. The bodyguards stayed by the door, their arms crossed, blocking any chance of escape, their cold stares sweeping over the crowd like a warning. I lay on the floor, my face sticky with cream and blood, my chest heaving as I gasped for the tiniest sliver of air. Through blurred vision, I could make out his silhouette, tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in a tailored black suit that screamed power, every line of his body radiating a rage so intense it made the room feel colder than the hospital operating room I'd just left. It was Alex, my brother, the man they'd mocked, the man they'd said I was lying about, the man who'd told me 100 times before surgery, "I'll never let anyone hurt you again." Justin's phone slipped from his hand, clattering to the floor, the live stream still running, capturing every second of the chaos, every flicker of fear on his face, every drop of cream on my blood-stained lips. He stumbled back, his confident smirk replaced by sheer terror, his voice cracking as he tried to speak. "Alex Lawson? I didn't know. She lied. She said she was your sister, but we thought." Alex didn't let him finish. He didn't even glance at Justin. His eyes were fixed on me, on the ventilator discarded on the table, its tube clogged with glitter, on the burn mark on my forehead, on the way my fingers trembled as I clawed at the floor, desperate for air. He knelt down beside me, his movements surprisingly gentle for a man so consumed by anger, his large hand brushing the cream and hair away from my face, his thumb grazing my cheek, so light, so careful, as if I were a fragile glass doll that might shatter at any moment. "Sally," he said, his voice low, rough with emotion, a stark contrast to the cold rage he'd radiated just moments before. "Can you breathe? Tell me what hurts." I tried to speak, but all that came out was a hoarse, gurgling cough, blood spattering onto his suit sleeve. He didn't flinch. He just lifted me carefully into his arms, supporting my back and my chest, avoiding the side where my lung had collapsed, as if he knew exactly where the pain was, as if he'd memorized every inch of my wounds. The scent of his cologne, cedar and vanilla, the same one he'd worn since we were kids, wrapped around me, a familiar comfort that made tears spill from my eyes, mixing with the cream and blood on my face. "Ventilator," I managed to croak out, my voice so weak I could barely hear it myself. "Glitter, can't breathe." Alex's jaw tightened. I could see the muscle in his cheek twitching, his eyes darkening even more as he glanced at the ventilator on the table. He set me down gently on a nearby chair, his hand lingering on my shoulder for a moment, as if reassuring me he wouldn't leave, before standing up slowly. When he turned to face Justin and Sophie, the gentle brother I knew was gone, replaced by the CEO of Lawson Group, the man nobody dared to cross, the man who'd built an empire from nothing, who'd crushed anyone who'd ever stood in his way. "Who," he said again, his voice so cold it sent shivers down my spine, "removed my sister's ventilator?" The room was so quiet I could hear the sound of my own ragged breathing, the faint hum of the live stream phone on the floor, the nervous swallowing of the party guests who'd been laughing at me just minutes before. Sophie burst into tears, throwing herself at Alex's feet, her hands clasped together, her voice shrill with fear. "Mr. Lawson, I'm so sorry. It wasn't me. It was Justin. He did it. He took her ventilator to inflate balloons, he dumped glitter in it, he forced her to blow out candles,